fastest show in sports.
In your experience as a professional, do you like to be called a professional gambler or a professional wagerer?
Neither. probably a handicapper, an analyst. I mean,
Okay.
The biggest question, probably the single most question I get more than anything else. I'll go to a party and people are like, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Well, I could care less, to be honest with you.
No, that's
Unless
not it.
the Dolphins were in there and I didn't have a wager on
If
the
the
game.
Dolphins were in there and you bet any money in the next 50 years, you'd make a fortune.
Right.
I mean, come on.
So I just, I tell them, listen, all I care about is week to week. I'm looking to make my clients happy. I'm looking to win money for myself. So, that's where I am as far as that is concerned. It's
okay.
like
I don't care who's going to win the Super Bowl.
I use sports, I mean, I'm on almost 50 stations across the country.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, I'm not just for someone who's gambling on a game, Ed. I get a lot of people who say they like to hear my insight. Let's say I'm on in Jackson, Mississippi. It's one of the cities I'm on in. And I'm going to obviously break down and predict Ole Miss and Mississippi State each week. They don't want to hear the local broadcaster tell them each week that they think Ole Miss and Mississippi State are going to win and cover. They'd like to hear my honest opinion, and I break it down from a former quarterback's perspective, how one team.
You're another analyst, another professional role. I get that.
Will attack another's defense and looking to give them some points that they haven't heard, from their sports talk show host or an analyst. So those are some of the things.
Well, but before I get to the one question that I was going to ask, what you just talked about, isn't it fair to say that most talk show hosts, and I'm going to include myself, see, I don't give gambling advice. Lee, I'm the worst in the world. People come to me and they ask for my advice. Who do you think is going to win? I tell them, I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win. Now, I want you to run to the window at your nearest casino, and I want you to bet exactly the opposite of what I've bet. And you will win money. And 9 times out of 10, it comes true. So I don't even put myself in that run. That's why I talk to the experts. But is it not fair to say that all of these talkers, not all of them, most of them, 99% of them, don't have a farking clue what they're talking about when they talk about odds and gambling? I would say a
lot of sports talk show hosts know their teams fairly well.
Well, but know their teams when they're talking about gambling on the teams. Knowing the teams is one thing. I can break down, without question, I can break down just about any team, and I can talk to you intelligently about what's going on. But in making a gambling pick, most of them have no freaking clue what they're talking about. Right. Yes?
Well, because there's situations like Nick Saban. Nick Saban is a winning coach, maybe one of the greatest, maybe the greatest of all time. But look at his record as a favorite laying 25, 30 points or more, or facing one of his old assistant coaches. Usually doesn't run up the score. Those are some of the things that I'm looking for. So
you look for tendencies.
There's tendencies. I love to play on coaches for or against that have been coaching 5 or more years. You're going to see a lot of tendencies in coaches. So,
but back to the question that I need to ask, which to me is the one that is germane to this conversation. In your opinion, of somebody who has been there for so long, looked at millions of games and events, which of the professional sports, even college sports, I'll throw it in there, in your opinion, is the easiest to fix?
So it used to be college football. They had injury reports. The ACC actually, and I was there at their ACC media days, their commissioner said that they're going to start reinstituting injury reports starting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. Last year, only the Big Ten did it. So there was not official reports released in the past, but it looks like there's a wave to where someone obviously upstairs is telling them to do that. So it used to be college sports because you saw injuries that were reported, and the discrepancy, the difference from a starting quarterback to a backup quarterback was bigger. Now I would say it's the NFL. The NFL is pretty good at policing as far as injuries. There's 32 teams, and the injury reports are pretty good. And obviously there's going to be some cases a lot of cases where games come down to the last drive, but there's certain tendencies, that after you see the injury report and you see the teams and the teams, I would say NBA is very tough. You got to pick and choose your spots in the NBA. Baseball can be good, but a lot of people don't have, the patience to sit out and wait 3 or 4 days for a real good bet in baseball. And hockey, I'm not proficient enough in hockey, even though I have a hockey handicapper that works for me. But I would definitely say the NFL right now is the easiest sport to beat.
The easiest sport to fix now, does that mean from an individual effort, or does that mean from a connected effort? Because if you're looking at what goes on, they're all team sports, in a sense, where an individual can affect the outcome of the game as easy as possible without needing anybody else. You don't need a catcher, you don't need the receiver, you don't need anybody else to be involved in it. One person. Which one then is easiest? Still football?
NBA. I mean, there's only 5 players on the floor at one time. So if there was going to be cheating, basketball is obviously the easiest sport to manipulate. There was a scandal going years ago. I think it was Arizona State. So you get one player that has a bad game and he's on the court a lot. Very, very tough to overcome that. Whereas football, you got 11 on each side. 11 on each side. You got special teams. Baseball, you got 9 on each side. Pitcher, obviously, can affect the game the most. And then hockey, you got so many different waves of players. You got 20 plus players playing in a game. So basketball is the easiest game to manipulate. And that's why we've seen probably more scandals in basketball. And, it's easier, except for what we've seen recently. Baseball, the first pitches of some of these players to find out.
That's all, folks.